Happy Thursday, everybody. I pray all is well with you and everyone that's in the sound of my voice. How's your day? I hope your day is great. Mine, I must say, was pretty good. Is pretty good. So far, so good. You know, can you believe August is almost over, huh? Almost over. This was a hot, hot summer. So, needless to say, I spent most of my time on the inside, in the air conditioning. You know, went to the movies. The places I went had air conditioning, like the movies mostly, and you know, I just don't do too well with all this heat. It just ain't my thing being outside and all that heat. So here's the thing. I'm going to talk about the DNC from last night, but I also want to talk about something that's been trending today. Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man as they call him, played for the Minnesota Timberwolves. What he said is that Michael Jordan, was the only player with skill back in the so-called day. Well, well, let me say this about that. But first, the DNC. Tim Walz seems to be an honest, genuine man. I like him. He does remind me of um, the character Tommy Boy sometimes when he gets excited. Gus said, "That's my dad." I think Walz is a good guy. I also want to say that House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is a bad man. He might be the next man up. He really, really might be. I liked Oprah's speech. It was sort of a history lesson about the New Orleans Four. That was pretty new to me and very interesting. Just shows you the real history that's not being taught to our kids. But at least the kids today, they have Google. They can educate themselves. And we all need to educate ourselves because there's a lot that's not taught. And if the Republicans get that way, books are going to be banned. So that's another story. I did listen to Bill Clinton. He was pretty good. Not as good as his wife Hillary, but he showed up and he did his part. I watched the great Stevie Wonder speak and do his thing. Stevie's looking really good these days after dealing with kidney disease or kidney issues. The Prince tribute by John Legend and Sheila E. was so good. They pretty much knocked it out of the park. They left you wanting more. So let's see what tonight brings. Madame President to be has something to say, and I'll be listening. Now, let's talk some hoops. So Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, is a 6'4" guard who usually be giving opposing players the business. I'm thinking he probably averaged about 25 or something like that. I have to look it up. I should know that. I think he's really good. The comparisons to MJ, however, I think were kind of unfounded. He's explosive, without a doubt, but it took Jordan 7 years to be Jordan. He's been in the NBA only 4 years. Let's let the kid grow up. Okay, so he ruffled some feathers when he said that back then Jordan was the only player with skill. Well, let me say this about that. There's some validity to that statement. Notice I said so. In my humble opinion, the skill level of a big man is the biggest leap of skill in the NBA. That's also the reason why the game can be played a lot faster. KD, Kevin Durant is 6'10". In the 90s, that would be a center's eye. KD is anything but a center. I don't think Jordan was the only player who was the only player with skills, but I do think that when Jordan took over in the 90s, that some teams were still stuck in the 80s style of play. They had maybe a skilled player or two, but I think it was residual effect from the 80s style of play and coaches that wanted to do things that way. Eventually, they had to let the players do what they can do. Had to let them showcase their skills, such as AI. Allen Iverson came on the scene with skills not seen since Jordan had exploded. So the old school had to let Iverson be Iverson. So not only did the kids want to be like Mike, they also wanted to be like AI. You wanted to be like the late great Kobe, to be like those greats. You had to work on your skills, shooting, passing, handling the ball. Then here's Steph. Got him when he walks in the stadium. Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has the skill. He's like a magician out there. So all that I'm saying to say this, yes, skills has gotten a lot better in the NBA than it used to be. The 80s, you had Magic in them, and you had Bird, you had Isaiah, Doctor, all those great players. And as they got old, Jordan stepped in, took over, and did his thing, and ushered in the Kobe's. And then along came the man, King James. Yeah. So skills, yes, has developed a lot for the big man and for all other positions in the NBA. So I can't say that Ant-Man is 100% um, true what he said, but like I said, there is a little validity to what he is saying. Okay. Anyway, that's my thing, and we're gonna see what happens in the DNC tonight, and I will talk to you tomorrow.